Hey, everybody, how are you today? I'd like to welcome you to Food for Thought, Food for Body, and meet the author. So, who's the author? You must know that's me, right? Um, you take a wild guess. This is the book that we are going to be featuring a conversation about. It's Mind is to Mental as Teeth are to Dental, and we all have a mind. Does that make sense to you? Mind is to mental as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind. I'm Evadyne Smith. I call myself the co author of that book because the creator is my co author. It's very clear that when we do things, we do them with the help of. With the help of. And I recognize that 100%. So I am here to share some information with you because the food for thought idea is talk. It's about talk and having the ability to learn from one another, right? We learn from one another on a regular basis. Learn from one another. And so I am very interested in moving forward with this idea. So we started the Food for Thought, Food for Body, Meet the Author event. And we started that because it's time to get it, I guess, off of social media and into your hands. Off of social media and into your hands. And that's what we're doing. Face to face, front to front. You can visit my website, NetworkingForSuccess.info, and go to the promo page. When you go to the promo page, you'll have the opportunity to purchase the book. The ebooks are available as well as the paperbacks. They're available as well. I have two books so far, and there's a third book coming. So the two books are Mind is to Mental as Teeth Are to Dental. See? And Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. And the Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today is actually about a word and an action and thoughts that people get that no one wants to talk about. It is a serious killer because not only does it end the life of the person if they're successful, but it also ends the life of their loved ones and the way that they knew it before that incident. Even if people attempt suicide, life changes. No one wants to talk about it, no one wants to ask about it. And when I say no one, I mean no one personal. You will have the professionals who will ask the questions through examination, ask the questions in therapy, but loved ones have a hard time approaching survivors. I was in a store one day and I was speaking about the book, and I asked the young lady, if I told you that someone who attempted suicide would tell you they don't know why they did it, would you believe me? Her name was Debbie, and she grabbed me by the arms and she said, "Oh my God." She'd had a dream a couple of days before, and in the dream, a young man killed himself, looked at her, and said, "I do not know why I did it." She didn't know him, and it was in a dream. But as we were speaking, she immediately remembered that. And not only did she remember that, but the hairs on her arms were standing up. I don't know if you've ever experienced seeing something or being somewhere or being shocked of a sort, and the hairs on your arms or hairs on your head, like mine, you could feel a process of electricity happening in your body from the realization that you've heard that before, you've been there before, it strikes a chord with you. Literally, I saw the hairs on her head standing up, and It gave me confirmation that the information in the book is accurate, because that's what I wrote in the book. That if someone attempts it and thankfully survives it, and you ask them why did they do it, they tell you they don't know, to believe them, because it's not what you think. It's not always deliberate. It's not as we see. Um, it's not intentional. It comes from so many different sources. I was listening to Pastor Mike from the Hope Center. He was on Dr. Robin on Sirius Radio. You can look for that. And he said he was on the balcony of a hotel room, that he was at a hotel room because he was at a speaking engagement. And he went out to the balcony just to see the view. And he heard in his head, if you jump, it won't hurt. He went to therapy after that. He went to therapy, not immediately, but he realized that was a scary moment, that it was an unintentional action, and it wasn't an intention that he had any intention on feeling, thinking, or doing. But he speaks about it, and he spoke about it. So it can happen to anyone at any time. One of the reasons people get sad and depressed and have those thoughts, they call them quickly suicidal thoughts, or now they call them suicidal ideations. They think of good words for it, but not definitely approaching it head on. And I'm going to say in a most direct way. In a most direct way, if they were going to do that, you would think that they would have had some type of emotional issues going on previously. And even those who do have emotional issues, it is not what they're thinking about even when they do it. So again, I'm Evadyne. We're here at Marconi's Pizza and Restaurant at 73 Howells Road on Long Island. And I'd like to thank Nunzio for his dedication to community, for understanding that providing this space is a great way for people to have conversation, to get information, and for us to do our part in changing the dynamics of what is going on. You know, what is going on. And what is going on is that we keep getting reports of behaviors and situations that they want to say are behaviors and situations that they want to say are a result of social media, right? Or they're a result of um, relationship issues. There was a program on PBS, and they gave several reasons why people commit suicide or think about suicide. Never once did they mention something that we hear all the time in commercials: can cause sadness, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Have you heard that before? Can cause sadness, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Well, they tell us that when it comes to medication. Now, you're not taking the medication for emotional issues. You're taking the medication maybe to quit smoking. There's a patch that you take to quit smoking, and that patch can give you suicidal thoughts. Any idea why that happens? Any idea? Correct. It sometimes happens because of protein deficiency. The medication has an ability to reduce your protein level. And if your proteins are low, then your neurotransmitters are affected by that. Your neurotransmitters are affected by that, and so it throws off your thinking. And that's a lot of physiological information, your neurotransmitters, protein deficiency. But know that protein deficiency can be helped through diet. It is so important to understand the value of nutrition. And you do, don't you? Oh, yeah, you do. You understand the value of nutrition because you choose to eat as wisely as possible. But our choices are based on what's available to us. Would you agree? I agree. B, I agree. So I'm going to leave her here. And she probably looks a little backwards. I'll get that in place one day. Mind is to mental as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind. Uh, when he's not busy, too busy, Nunzio's going to come over and we're going to talk just for a few minutes because he's busy. It's a very busy restaurant. And I'm grateful that he opened up the door for us to come in and have this conversation, have a talk about something that's affecting the community near and far, globally. Mind health, mental health, overall health and wellness, globally. And let me say to you, when I say mind is to mental, it's because it's your state of mind that gets addressed by the mental department. It's your state of mind. But your state of mind could be the greatest. It could be absolutely wonderful, nothing troubling you, ecstatic. I had someone say to me one day, anyone who lives in a euphoric state 24/7 needs to be evaluated. And she was talking about me. And I said to her, please schedule the appointment because I do enjoy speaking and learning. And I'm sure that if I had that appointment back then, I was in the 90s, that I would have learned a little more a little sooner. So, I just say, schedule me the appointment. I have no fear of conversation. I have no fear of talk. I have no fear of learning. I say, actually, I have t shirts that say, don't be afraid to ask why. It's how we learn. Would you agree? Exactly. It's how we learn. When you don't know something, when you don't know enough about something, ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask why. It's how we learn. Visit my website, networkingforsuccess.info. You are on my YouTube now, but I don't know if you noticed, but I have a new way of getting you to my YouTube. Like SSR.com. Like SSR.com. You know what that stands for? Well, if you're watching this, you're on YouTube, and if you're here with us, it stands for like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. Like SSR.com. Kind of original, but simple at the same time. Would you agree? Give me a second. So proud of your business. Thank you. Okay, we had to do a little bit of rearranging. So we're here again at Marconi's Pizza and Restaurant at 73 Howells Road in Bayshore, New York. Beautiful area also. It's not far from Fire Island Ferry. So if you're ever in the Fire Island Ferry area and on your way, use Uber, Uber Eats, to have your food delivered to you before you get on the ferry, or order it while you're on your way. Take an Uber to pick it up and then take it across the water with you. Take enough for the weekend. Take enough for the weekend. The food is very good. But if you have an opportunity to sit in, it's a beautiful Italian family style restaurant with great food. That's why we're here, for food for thought, food for body, and meet the author. Why? Well, because there's so much to do and so many ways to do it. Getting information out of you and spreading it throughout the universe. And I say that now, right? I was using mega, but I think that's probably somebody's phrase, and I don't want to get cited for it. But know that the astronauts and the group that have move to Mars, they watch us and they listen to us as well. So we're not just global, it's not just around the globe of Earth, it is all around. Wherever there is an opportunity to plug into the web. I could say that, right? The web. Okay. So I think I got it now. I am Evadyne. I have a podcast, Evadyne with Company, talk worth listening to on the Grown Folk Talking Express Yourself Network. Uh, you can get there also, 520-525-8633. You can go there. My show is Mondays, 4 to 6 p.m., but you can call into that number at any time and hear the entire show lineup. We have some new shows that are not on the lineup yet, but they're coming. They're coming, but they're on. You have shows for all ages, and it's about educating from the level that you're at, sharing information from the level that you're at. Here, with the food for thought, just want to share something. Think about this. As I mentioned a little earlier, right? Can cause sadness, depression, and suicidal thoughts. What can do that? Exactly. Medication. Think about this. Can cause anemia, Parkinson's, dementia. What could that be? Well, exactly. Aluminum toxicity. If you have too much metals in your body, it will affect the functioning of your body. Think about this one: anxiety, fatigue. What can cause that? Iron deficiency, lack of oxygen. If you have a lack of iron in your blood, even if your blood is flowing through your veins, it's not flowing with the proper amounts. So it can cause anxiety. It can cause you to need a walker or a wheelchair because if you don't have enough oxygen, you don't have enough energy. You don't have enough energy. And proteins are important to that as well because proteins make up a lot of your blood volume. So proteins, iron, very important factors, and optimal health. And optimal health. If you're low on iron, I suggest beet juice, or if you can get quality organic powder, beetroot powder, start intaking that to help build up your blood volume. And of course, folic acid helps to maintain iron in your body. So those would be your leafy greens, right? Calcium is very important, and vitamin C is a great carrier for calcium. Most of your nutrition should come through food. Ergo, here, food for thought, right? Food for body, meet the author. It should come through food. Synthetic vitamins, synthetic hormones. Vitamin D, by the way, is a hormone, it's not a vitamin. They're processing in your body, much like some of the foods we may be encountering. Not the greatest. It's better to get your nutrition and your vitamins from food. But if you do have to supplement with whole food supplements, not the store necessarily, but with supplements that are made from food because your body is called bioabsorbable. Your body will be able to absorb those supplements and use those supplements. That's what your body will be able to do. So you want your body to be able to recognize what you're putting in it. Does that make sense? I hope so. Aluminum toxicity. What would that come from? Any idea? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So a lot of our cosmetics have aluminum. Our soap has aluminum. Your When I say cosmetics, gentlemen, even if you don't wear makeup, cosmetics could be your lotions. Anything that goes on your skin goes into your bloodstream. Did you know? Yeah. Anything that goes on your skin goes into your bloodstream. And so being mindful of the chemicals that you use, even for cleaning, your cleaning chemicals, your washing for your laundry. Um, oh, okay, let's talk about that. I love doing laundry, right? And I've ironed maybe 3 times in 15 years. And my clothes are not normally wrinkled because a lot of them are permanent press. And if you do good laundry and not push your clothes down in the shopping cart, but take them out to dry and hang them up, the heat beats out the wrinkles. But that's because of formaldehyde. And you know what else formaldehyde is in? Makeup. Did you know? And also embalming fluid. You know what embalming fluid is? Oh, yeah. So, embalming fluid is what they put into the body when they drain the blood out of the body of a deceased person. It's to give it that fullness again. So, those chemicals are used in many of the products we use while breathing. And of course, now I shared that it's used even after we're no longer here, just to build our body back up and get out the wrinkles and makeup, get out the wrinkles. Your permanent press, get out the wrinkles with the heat. And your body has heat, right? So when you use it on your skin, the heat of your body helps it to work. It helps it to work. That's how it's designed. So what do we do instead? We be very mindful. That's the key. Being very mindful of what we're eating, what we're giving our children. The flame retardant pajamas for babies, for children, even for us. The soft, what do they call it? The microfiber softness, formaldehyde. That's what makes it soft. The non-flammable pajamas. Remember the not? I don't think they call them onesies, but it's pajamas with the rubber feet or plastic feet, so the little ones could walk around and not slip. Well, the flame retardants is formaldehyde. So we're sleeping in it, we're rubbing in it, we're breathing it in, and it has not so good effects on the body. Not so good effects. So be mindful and look this up. I mean, I share information the way I receive it. You could double check me, you could double check you, you could double check them. What I also suggest to people is to see if you can, on the internet, see the inside of the laboratory that's making the products that you use. If you do that, you will find that each individual handling, each individual ingredient is wearing full body protection, full body protection, so that their skin is protected from that one chemical that they're handling. But as your product continues down the line of manufacturing, other products are added. And not to neutralize, to synergize. And that group of people are also wearing head to toe protective garments. Then it's bottled up beautifully, put on the market, and there you go, right? Now you are using all of those chemicals that In the manufacturing plant they protected themselves against, you're using every one of them combined on your skin. What do you think the effect of that is in your body? So, what do I recommend? Suggest. Suggest. If you like the fragrance, put it on your clothes. Put it on your clothes. Now, I will say that inhaling is also harmful, as we know, with a lot of secondhand issues. But if you really just need to smell it, put it on your clothes. I always say if you want to dye something, dye my clothes. Don't dye my skin. That's what I say. Or you can use essential oils and be mindful of where you acquire the essential oils. Okay. Our food is meant to heal us. Our food is meant to give our body nutrients. Our food is meant to be our friend. It's meant to be our friend. I'm going to recommend a few things. I just joined a group that I feel very, very good about. It's called Powerful Pioneers. They're kind of pioneering real time connection, networking, business, information, valuable information. Powerful Pioneers. Check them out. Or you can contact me and I'll send you information. As a matter of fact, um, they held a telethon last Friday from 11 a.m. to about 2 a.m. And it was wonderful. It was full of information. It's going to be made available. So you can text me 347-457-2769 and I will send you the link for it. You can reach out to me my email, teamfollowme@yahoo.com. You can, I have a 24-hour hotline. I don't know how hot it is, but it's for you to call in at any hour. I'm on Eastern Standard Time, but you can call into this number any hour and I will get the message. It is 347-649-7741. 347-649-7741. Call in. Call in with a show idea. Call in because you have information that you want me to share. Call in because you have a comment about the book or the books. Oh, did I tell you? Okay. So the books are Suicide is a Serious Killer. Let's End It Today. And Mind is to Mental as Teeth are to Dental, and we all have a mind. But there's going to be a triplet, and the triplet is titled Demystifying Suicide, Ending the Traumas. Demystifying Suicide, Ending the Traumas. What does that mean? To most people, suicide is a mystery, but it is probably one of the most devastating causes of death that hits a family, a loved one, friends, usually out of nowhere and one and done. But again, it's the why. It's the why. Why does it happen? Why did the person do it? What could I have seen? What did I miss? What could I have done? Those are the questions that come from the family members and the loved ones who I say, once again, I say it again, once that incident happens, even if it's a failure, loved ones are never the same. And I say a failure because people attempted and failed at it. I'm grateful for because they usually don't try it again. So that again goes back to the why, right? The why. I feel that it's very important to understand that when we get these reports of suicides and they throw a chenille blanket over it, They say it and then that's that, or they say it and it's a secret, or some people don't say it at all. There's a whole funeral service and announcements, and it's the shh, don't tell. I mean, and really, it's just the family shushing because after that, nobody else knows. Well, you can't shush. Number one, because it may not have been a suicide. We watch enough TV and movies to see how things are played out and set up to look a certain way. May not have been a suicide. Also, the person may not have wanted to do it because, as we've learned a little earlier in this talk, can cause sadness, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Protein deficiency can throw off your neurotransmitters. The pastor Mike was standing on the terrace. And I don't know if many of you have felt that before, but looking at water flowing can give you a kind of woozy brain feeling. And being on a high level floor or the roof of a building. We used to play on roofs, right? We used to play. There was a lot of playing in our earlier days, things we could play with. Um, but there are a lot of interesting feelings you can get from height. From height. Think about that. It is said that there are people who live in Seattle, Washington, and because they have a lot of gloomy days, probably through the fall and winter, that there's a high rate of suicides, and especially among young people. And I'm not glad about that, but I'm glad that they related to the the weather or the lack of sunlight. See, sun has vitamin D. Sun has natural vitamin D, and the more you're in it, the more you receive. Vitamin D is very important to mind wellness and to your entire body as well. But the seasonal deficit disorder, which they started talking about that back in the early 90s, seasonal deficit disorder, it it comes from lack of vitamin D, lack of sunlight. And so areas in the world that don't have a lot of sunlight have a lot of sadness, have a lot of depression. They need some of the residents need a boost in their vitamin D so that they could feel better. Well, I feel that if you know this and you're aware of it, see, they say knowledge is powerful, right? Knowledge is powerful. So the more we know, the more we can grow into being educated and being more mindful, and not even just getting the information for ourselves, but sharing it with others. What do you say about that? Sharing it with others, young and old. Please do not believe that young people can't handle conversations that are impactful, because just think about all the information they're learning. I'm sorry, let me say that again. Just think about all the information that they're learning in school. So if they're learning this information in school on different levels, from history to math and science, they can handle a conversation about life, about nutrition, about feeling good or feeling bad. They can handle those conversations probably much better than many adults. What do you think about that? Exactly. Exactly. So I I'm going to read the back of the book in hopes of gaining your interest in getting the book off the website and reading it. I've never been at an event selling my books where someone picked up the book, opened it up, read the page, and said thank you. I needed that. And I don't even ask them what page they read because that's not my business. Unless they want me to know, that's not my business. My business is to pay attention to the information I receive and to share it. But let me read the back of the book for you. Talking about me, Evadyne, it says Evadyne shares deep yet basic information about mind slash mental health and living a healthy and fulfilled life. Our state of mind is the key. Considered food for thought, where we are, right? Considered food for thought. This book offers solutions in the areas of personal life, finances, long term wealth strategies, nutrition, clearing the clutter, parenting, and focusing on goals that will help lead to a happy life. Living out of the box and enjoying the vast universe can lead to a fulfilled life. This book could be considered a manual for living our best life today and for always. I hope that you agree. What do you think? I know, right? So we never know. We never know who we're touching and why we're touching them. So as I am in tax season right now as a registered tax preparer, I was at a church yesterday doing an offsite, and a young lady came in. I had given the gentleman a copy of the book, and we were talking about it. And when the young lady came in, she entered into the conversation. The gentleman left, and the young lady sat down. She said, I need therapy. I shared with her that on my website, and I'm reaching out to you. If you have a therapist, a psychologist who is very good, please send their information to us because, as I mentioned in the book, it is very important to get a therapist when you're at your best. Because when you're at your best, that person becomes your friend. They know you at your best. And because of that, if life happens to throw you a curveball, you have someone who can get you back to your best. Why? Exactly. Because they know you at your best. They know you at your best. So, because I say that, I think, what do they say? If you're going to talk about it, be about it. So, I've started compiling a list of therapists. And we have one on my website right now. But if you have a therapist, if you are a therapist or a counselor, a chaplain, which are chaplains are people who allow you to share, they receive non judgmental, and they offer direction. So, a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist, a chaplain, if you know of one or if you are one and you would like to become part of this network where people who are on the website are looking for this or looking for that, send us the information. Team follow me at yahoo.com. Team follow me at yahoo.com, or you can call 347 649 7741. Leave your name, your number. Um, yeah, leave your name and your number and your position. Take a look at the website though, NetworkingForSuccess.info. You can go to promo. You can also go to the travel page. The travel page is a lot of fun, and you can register to have your own travel and shopping portal on that travel page. Once you watch this, and we're going to end it soon, but once you watch this, I would love for you to email me that you watched it, and I will send you a beautiful thank you package. I will send you a beautiful thank you package for watching. Now, share, like, subscribe, and ring the bell on the YouTube so that you can get any of the new stuff that comes up. And not only do I post mine, but I post what I come across that I feel is valuable. So you'll probably get that as well. I'm pretty excited about what's happening now. This Food for Thought, Food for Body, Meet the Author promotion is going to travel around the country and also virtual. So if you want to host such an event, again, virtually or in person, the Food for Body is about eating. It's about eating. So if you host it at a food venue, that's wonderful. And we work out a deal with the restaurant, or if the restaurant want to sponsor it, like Nunzio here at Marconi's, then that is great. If you host it at another location and we bring in a caterer, that's fine as well. We want to fuel everybody and everything with what's important. I am excited about this promotion. I am, and the young lady who I was speaking to, we spoke for about 45 minutes, about 45 minutes, and I gave her a lot of information. She suffered with depression. She suffered with, I'm not challenged, not suffered. She's challenged with depression, anxiety, which I found out in the end, and issues with her mom. So I recommended and to her and to you to listen to Conversations with God. It's on YouTube. There is a movie. I don't know much about the movie, but I'm referring to the 8 hour book being read by the author. Conversations with God. I feel it is so valuable in the information that's given. And then you could skip around if you like, skip around, skip around, and then come back. I feel it's so valuable. It answers so many questions that people have. And again, I'll say to you, if you pray, if you chant, if you meditate, if you're asking for answers to life's issues, I highly, 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 highly recommend that you believe your answers are going to come through people. Through people. Well, how else? Exactly. Through people. And these people are going to give you information that's being given to them. They don't know they're receiving it for you, but they're just going to be speaking. Well, some do. Some do. They have different people who are doing different things in the area because they're connected in a certain kind of way. But for the most part, right? Um, it's going to come through people, through conversation. I do believe that she listened to a lot of what I said because she actually brought me back something that I had asked for. So I do believe she listened, and I do believe she's going to be better. Um, I'll tell you a story, but I will not mention your name. But I'll just tell you one little secret about her. Her father gave her her name, and her name signifies what will heal her. Her name is something that she'd been using whenever she was feeling anxiety or feeling down, but she never knew the meaning of her name. So I asked her when she gave me her name, which was the end of our conversation, if she knew what it meant. And she said, no. I said, well, check it out because names mean a lot. I didn't know. She left the church and she went to the business that was on the corner, which I knew she was headed toward. When I looked up her name, I had to run her down and let her read what her name meant. And she told me that her name has to do with water. And she told me that it's so interesting because whenever she was feeling down or suffering badly with anxiety, she would take a shower. She would take a shower and it would make her feel better. And I told her, your father knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He provided you with what could help you through life. Through life. Let's talk about a name for a minute. So my name is Evadyne, I'll show you again. So it's Evadyne, right? And My mom actually saw my name as Evadne without the Y. She added the Y, and 20 years before I was born, the way she spells my name with the Y, it was established as a pharmaceutical antidepressant. Yeah, I know, right? She never knew that. And she would always ask me, do you have to talk to everybody? Because we could be out shopping, driving down the street, whatever. I just talk, right? And I told her, though, my response to her was, if they need to talk to me. That was my response. I had no idea until about maybe 4.5 years ago that the way she spells my name, it was established as a pharmaceutical antidepressant 20 years before I was born. I had no idea. But I knew I had an idea of the effect that conversations that I have with people, I knew the idea of the effects that I had on them. And so when people read the books, they ask me, are you a psychologist? And I tell them by definition. Does that make sense to you? By definition. Because you have to do the work, whether it's your studying and your testing and your residency, you have to do the work before you get the title. But know that these titles were created by man, by the academic system. They were created, but it's only to solidify the work that would be done under those titles. But know that that work was being done anyway, right? So it's almost like the cake is made, but now we're going to break down how the cake is made. Oh, perfect example. I know, such a foodie I am again. Perfect example. There are people who cook and cook very well, but not by recipe, right? But if you wanted them to, or if they wanted to write down and create a recipe for the way they cook, then they would have to write down the ingredients, maybe even test it out to get the same result they were getting before the recipe was written. And don't ask me where I came with that analogy from, because it just came to me. I've never said it before. Scout's honor. But it makes sense. I'm a make sense kind of chick, really. I like to make sense. I like to make it easy to understand, breaking it down. I love the phrase lowest common denominator, though me and fractions were never friends. I've always liked that phrase and I've always used it. I take things to the lowest common denominator, to the least common denominator, to the most basic to bring it up. And that's how I am with issues. I don't rally and march with signs of the problem. The problem already exists and it's already known. If I am going to march and rally, I'm going to hold up a sign of solution. If we're going to come together in masses and groups and bust it out here and bust it out, we're going to be talking about solution and delivering solutions. Not just one, it's not always one, but we're going to be talking about solutions because the issue already exists. You don't need to ferment the issue, you don't need to tell anyone else the issue. It's all about the solution. I think so. Anyway, it's all about the solution. So I do appreciate everyone who has come out today. I appreciate everyone who's looking. I'm going to try to grab Nunzio, but he's really, really busy. But I will tell you again, he is very committed to improving the community, is why he opened up the restaurant for us tonight. We thank him, right? Yeah. Everyone's eating and enjoying their food, enjoying the talk. Um, I have this thing about when you go to events that you can't record. I don't have a problem with you recording anything that I say and do because I know that it's important that we look back on these things. I just asked you to send me a copy because I might have one angle and you might have another. Thank you. So let me think. Is there anything else that we should be covering today? Food for thought. I hope I gave you some food for body, whether you're watching this from the comforts of your home and having a meal, or you're here with us and everyone's enjoying themselves here. They have their wine and their pasta. Um, oh, so coming up this Saturday at the Cosman Temple on Bedford Avenue, right across from Medgar Evers, there's going to be a powerful pioneer networking event full of um, information and resources regarding the iTerra wand that helps to stimulate your cells on a bone level. They have Michael Tyson is actually going to be presenting. He has several things. He has the wheatgrass from Canada, and he has a machine that begins with a beamer. Mind your business. A beamer machine. And a beamer machine, again, also helps to detoxify your body for healing properties. For healing properties. It helps to stimulate your cells and rejuvenate you. The wheatgrass from Canada is a high grade wheatgrass. You're going to have King James, who's going to be there with his seed nutrition. It's so funny, though. We're told not to eat the seeds, we spit a lot of them out, right? But what does the fruit of the vegetable actually grow from? So, where are all the nutrients? I'm just saying, right? Food for thought. I'm just saying. Um, Watermelon, especially, they told us not to eat the watermelon rind when we were kids because it's going to make your stomach hurt. Okay, I'm okay with that. So I didn't listen anyway because I love crunching. So I did eat the watermelon rind on many occasions and still today, but it's very good for you. The watermelon seeds are very good for you. Pomegranate, I never ate the seeds, but you can. They're nice and soft and you can. And do you know about apricot seed? I think it's B17. Look into apricot seeds. Apricot seeds um, are not liked very well by cancer cells. I'll say that cancer cells. They help a lot with cancer cell destruction. Say that. Yeah, with destroying cancer cells. Along with the shiitake and the maitake mushrooms, they also work against the development of cancer cells. Because they always say we all have cancer cells. It's just when they decide to come up and have a party and get in your way. I also heard, and you can check this out, that tumors are like garbage cans in your body. The tumor is where the cancer cells are being stored. That's your body's defense mechanism, capturing the cancer cells and storing them in the tumor, in the sac. So ideally, it is believed that once that sac is identified, you can remove the sac and then use natural supplements to help kill the cancer cells that might still be kind of like lurking around looking for a place to party, right? Um, I met a lady who had colon cancer and she allowed them to remove the cancer areas and they were scheduling her for the radiation and chemo and she said no thank you and they said oh no but you have to do it if you don't do it you're going to die and she asked them did you get all of the cancer and they said yes and she said fine she said so I think you can hear me better right the book was probably muffling she said so I'm good when I'm speaking to her it's 5 years 5 years she was cancer free right she was 5 years cancer free and she didn't do any of the radiation or any of the chemo. She did turmeric, she did moringa, garlic, cabbage, antifungal foods, antibacterial foods. And this is 5 years later after her surgery to remove it. Go ahead, take that, get it out of me. But now that I know that I'm invaded, she moved to protect the rest of her body from becoming invaded as well. Let's start doing that now. Doing what? Let's start getting rid of those possibilities with the foods and the nutritional products that we know can kill them. Because guess what? We never know what we're breathing in. We never know what's coming our way. We never know who coughed over you. And we never know what's lurking. So treat your body maybe once a month with the anti all of those things supplements. Does that make sense? I think so. I think so. Suicide is a serious killer. Let's end it today. The next book that's coming again is Demystifying Suicide, Ending the Traumas. Oh, did I tell you what motivated me to write about all of this stuff? I mean, other than my co author being the creator, that was my motivation spiritually. But on a human level, it was Robin Williams. Robin Williams' report of suicide. That's when my co author tapped me and said, "Hey, you, something else needs to be done. Something else needs to be done to end this thing, to end this thing that people are hearing and believing and assuming the worst about. People are assuming, oh, you never know how someone was suffering. Well, stop telling people's stories if they're not here to confirm them. May not have been suffering from anything, nothing at all. May have just been a side effect of a medication. Because what I learned later, which I didn't know, I mean, I immediately said, no, 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 not him. And let me tell you why I said not him. I said not him because I've watched Robin Williams as long as he's been, on TV and all of that stuff. There is no movie he's ever played in that a child cannot watch. Not one. He would have never done that to his children. Robin Williams would have never done that to his children. Never. In his right mind. So that goes back to what influenced the action, not even the decision, the action. Because if it can cause sadness, depression, and suicidal thoughts, what comes behind a thought? Exactly, an action. Example, Pastor Mike, out on the terrace of a hotel room that he's at. He's in this location to, um, give a speech. And as he's looking out on the terrace, he hears, "If you jump, it will not hurt." Right. But here's another one. The lady was driving down the street on a beautiful Saturday. She heard in her head, "Faster, faster, faster, now crash. Faster, 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 now crash." She pulled over and she was like, "What was that?" When she checked the new medication they had given her as a dialysis patient, one of the side effects was, you got it, suicidal thoughts. Be careful. Yeah, suicidal thoughts. That was a suicidal thought. Because had she run into the wall, had she done that, followed through that faster, faster, faster thing, the witnesses would have said nothing in front of her, nothing behind her, nothing pushed her. Her family would have done the shh thing. But in secret, they would have said, "Oh, she must have been tired. She's been on dialysis for so long." Again, people will tell your story if you're not here to tell it. Don't let them tell your story. Don't let them tell your story. Protein deficiency can cause sadness and depression. Let our physicals at our medical facilities do the work. Let those physicals look at our bodies, look at our blood, look at our systems for real, and tell us what's really going on. I don't want to know that you want to manage my sugar, my cholesterol, my high blood pressure with your medication. I want to know what's troubling me that could possibly cause me to do harm to myself or to others. To others. Oh, absolutely to others. So I'm sure you've heard the reports of murder suicides, right? Even recently, too many recently. Well, I was speaking to a retired paramedic, and he said to me, check this out. He said, I was in the hospital. The nurses gave me my medication. I asked them, what did you give me? They were at the desk. They just looked at him and continued talking. He got a little louder, a bit irate, and he said, what did you give me? And they said to him, why? Are you feeling suicidal? Like cookies and cream, you know? He said, no. It's telling me to pick up these scissors and stab you in your neck. Well, they weren't talking anymore. They were on the phone with the doctor. It was giving him homicidal thoughts. Homicidal thoughts. So when I heard that from him, I said to myself, I talk to myself, you may not know that. I said to myself, what if the cases of murder suicides are they do the homicide first out of their minds. And when they return back to their mind and see what they did, they then take their own life. Like, unbelievably, they take their own life after seeing what they did to others. It was the medication. And so I share that with a lot of young people who find it absolutely necessary to engage in intoxicating their bodies with alcohol, with smoking different things, right? Because I say the chemicals that they're putting in the medication through the manufacturing process could also be in the alcohol and the energy drinks, in our food, of course, straight, direct, in our food, and the recreational smoking items. Could be because, I read one day that metformin had been recalled because they put too much of a chemical that they use in rocket fuel in that lot of metformin. And metformin is used to manage blood sugar for diabetics. They didn't say they put it in by accident, they just put in too much of the same chemical that they put in rocket fuel. Okay, if you say so. I don't know. Is that shocking? Yeah. So we don't know what we're taking in. We don't know what we're swallowing. We don't know all of the ingredients that are involved. But this is one thing we do know: science will always be science. And casualties of science, according to science, is for the greater good of all. I'm going to say wink, wink, right? Wink, wink. I don't think that that is absolutely a positive thing. I don't think it's an absolute positive thing. But it is what goes on. It is what they do. So this has been a bit of food for thought. I'm going to go eat now. And well, no, I wouldn't try to do both things. I wouldn't try to do both things at one time. But I do appreciate everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate everyone coming, and I do appreciate um, you giving me your feedback on this conversation. Oh, I'm sorry, on this talk. Let me go with the talk. I do appreciate it because it's it's important that we get these books out into the community. So again, if you want to host a virtual, if you want to host an in-person event, please let me know. Please get the books, NetworkingForSuccess.info. You can order them directly from me. You can order them wholesale from me. You can order them retail, and you can immediately get the ebooks on NetworkingForSuccess.info/promo. You can get the ebooks and you can start reading today. Share this with your friends and family, and maybe you'll be able to join us for our next Food for Thought, Food for Body, Food for Thought, Food for Body. Um, Meet the author. And I did mention to you I was the author, right? Yeah, I'm the author. So I am Evadyne. This is Evadyne with Company. Talk worth listening to. Again, we're here at Marconi's in Bayshore, 73 Howells Road. Please stop in. Please order if you're in the area. Again, it's right near Fire Island Ferry in Bayshore. Order your food, jump off the train, come and pick it up, get on the ferry, and you'll have your food for the week or the weekend. Either way, one or the other, or just come early. Or just come early, please. Um, it's a great restaurant, and the food is very good. So why not? Right? Why not? And again, on Saturday, we're going to be at the Cosmin Temple. We will be there. It's right across from, I think it's 1360 979. So it could be 1363 Bedford Avenue in that vicinity, 1361, 1363 Bedford Avenue. And it is going to be 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. this Saturday, the 24th. And if you're coming in to have your taxes prepared, you can come as early as 11. And if you like to have them prepared before that and then pick up the copies and come and enjoy all the festivities, there's going to be vegan food, vegetarian food, a lot of presentations, good, healthy information. Oh, it's going to be food for thought, food for mind and body. And I'll be there again. I'll be the author. I thank you very much. I wish you really all a great every day. Thank you.